Bob Lee from Outside the Lines, the mothership. Bob, how are you?
As I was saying, Dan, hey, how you doing?
It's been a while.
I love your South African colored headphones today.
Thank you.
Very
I
classy.
got some vuvuzelas that you can't see right now, but I've got them.
Yeah, they do blow.
Yes, they do. Which segues right into what happened with Sepp Blatter here. Give us bigger picture what this actually means for the United States.
Well, the United States, until Blatter stepped down, had backed the losing horse in the presidential election last Friday, which meant that Blatter remaining in power was certainly not going to help the U.S. in 2017 when the vote was going to come for the 2026 World Cup. So at the least, we're back to neutral on that, and the opportunity for the United States to make a concerted bid to get. I mean, the conspiracy theorists, and they were well up on the American soccer hierarchy, was that not only would we not get 2026 if Blatter remained in power because we backed the prince, that he would see to it that it went to Mexico for the third time, which would just be putting it in and twisting it. That probably won't happen now. So I don't think 2022 is going to be revoted, and certainly 2018 is not going to be revoted, no matter what they find.
Okay, but let's go back and say the United States did get the World Cup. Is Sepp Blatter still in power if the United States got a World Cup?
Yes, I really think that. Anyone, I mean, unless you want to subscribe to Vladimir Putin's line of thinking, which is a dangerous avenue to walk down. I think that, this involves the DOJ, the FBI, American banking laws, hundreds of millions of dollars, allegedly. I don't think that this investigation goes back to 2011, and it's been going on for 3 years. And yes, it was months after the vote for Qatar and for 2018, but I don't think there's a straight line from the U.S. feeling there was an untoward vote to this investigation. I don't buy that.
Most impactful moment in USA soccer history?
It was this?
Yeah.
No. The most impactful moment in USA soccer history was Landon Donovan's goal in South Africa in 2010. Because that got everybody buying in. So you got to separate the politics from the reality of the game. I mean, people are still going to watch the game, no matter how dirty it is, no matter how much squalor exists in the executive suites, no matter how much it might get cleaned up. When the ref kicks, whistles the ball into play, and the first kick is taken, people are going to watch. People are going to watch Saturday for the Champions League final, despite all the questions of money and financial fair play. They're two separate realms.
Mm-hmm. Well, but you can also look at the role. How do you think USA is perceived in this?
Oh, there's no doubt. There are significant portions of the world that subscribe to, well, the U.S. and England got screwed, so they went to work and made sure this happened. Well, the journalists certainly did, especially in England. And, of course, what Jeremy and E60 did recently on the story of Sepp Blatter was tremendous work. But Andrew Jennings had been doing work in this investigative field for years and years. But clearly there's a feeling this country has enough public relations problems overseas, regardless of what the president said the other day. And this entire issue is not helping it in portions of the developing world. They're going to see this as orchestrated by Washington. And to the extent it comes from the Department of Justice, well, I guess they're right.
He's Bob Lee from Outside the Lines and ESPN joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Quoting Omar from The Wire, I'm proud of you.
True that.
Yeah.
True that, yeah. Maintain.
You didn't go scripted there, right?
No, I'm an OG. I do it by heart.
I liked it. Now, I'm not sure how that played to everybody else, if they understood where it was coming from, but we
Well, you know what we say, if they can't take a joke.
The importance of soccer now in the United States, if I said 10 years ago that this was going to, 15 years ago, because you were on an island at the mothership with your love of soccer, and now look at where it is now. Could you have ever imagined that this would be a topic bar? Granted, maybe not a positive one, but the people in the United States are actually discussing soccer or the importance of soccer or worldwide relevance of soccer.
Well, I think what people this week are really discussing is this a crime story torn, frankly, out of The Godfather, if you read the indictment, or Goodfellas. I mean, there is as much a fascination with the crime story aspect of this. It's not so much a soccer story. So I don't want to be so foolish as to believe that everybody who's transfixed by Blatter's reign at FIFA and all the indictments are necessarily going to be, buying MLS season ticket packages. That doesn't follow. But the profile has been raised. There's no doubt about that. And we'll modestly take a little bit of credit with our treatment of the last two World Cups, as we await to see, Fox beginning their coverage now with the Women's World Cup this weekend. But this is a crime story, and it's kind of a whodunit, and cartoonish, large-style characters here who are easy to sink your teeth into.
You just signed a new contract with the mothership, and
I did.
Well,
oh shoot,
yeah, you did. Sources close to me. Yeah, sources close to me tell me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that you signed a new deal.
What am I signing, Ray?
First day on the job was what year?
September 9th, 1979. Where were you?
I had graduating from college.
There you go.
And I think soon after that, 2 years later, I sent you and Greg Gumbel a tape, an audition tape for you to critique. Do you remember
I recall that?
Yes.
I do. We talked about this.
And you
and
you responded back to me with words of advice. Basically, stay in Dayton, Ohio. You'll never get out, and change your hair. And maybe, clean up the acne. Now, I'm paraphrasing here of what you may have said back then. But you were there, what?
Basically, don't come for my job. You scare the hell out of me.
Day 3 of ESPN when they opened the doors?
Day 3.
Oh, my God.
Day 3. I was offered a job 2 weeks to the day before the sign-on by the late, great Scotty Connell, and I shocked him as I'm walking to the door saying I would have to consider it because I had a meeting the very next day, 13 days before sign-on, with New Jersey Public Television. They offered me a job. So I had job offers on consecutive days, which never happened in this business. And I had about 18 hours to choose between these two jobs. And 36 years ago, it was a difficult choice. In fact, actually, the needle pointed in the opposite direction. An established entity on the air in New York and Philly at the age of 24 versus picking up and moving upstairs, to where they're still building the building and there's no plumbing.
Did you ever think you made a mistake staying at ESPN?
No, not really, because, we were so busy in the beginning, we didn't have time to reflect on that. And the reason I chose it between the two options, I was coming out of a situation where I was working in cable in North Jersey where it was very similar. I was hired over the blueprints of the remote truck. We shook hands, my buddy, the late Sal LaMarca, and I, and he hired me for $50 a game. That was good money in 1976. And we could do whatever we wanted to do. We had a blank canvas, and we had the same ability when we started at ESPN. There were no suits, Dan. There were no corner offices. There was no corporate structure. It was nirvana.
But I was surprised that it was the Wild Wild West when I first got to the mothership there. When, during the late SportsCenter, that there was no management really around, and you kind of looked around and went, we can kind of write or say whatever we want there. I mean, that freedom.
Yeah, and relying on our own good sense of how far to go. And most of us kind of knew that. And anybody who says that was by design is a revisionist. It was an organic thing. Boomer's nickname. The first one just slipped out. It's like, oh, okay. And the next 20,000 came out by design. But look, Chet Simmons, again, he passed away about 5 years ago. Chet and Scotty came over from NBC, and they, along with Bill Rasmussen, started up and the entire operation. He said, look, we're hiring you for your opinions, he says to me. It was about a week after I was hired. We hadn't signed on. I went up there for a meeting, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm 24. I'm talking to a guy who used to run NBC Sports, the Olympics, all this stuff. He wants my opinions. What's wrong with this picture? But no, they needed us. They needed us to eat up the innings. They needed, guys that would just go out there and grind and get it done and keep us on the air. Because back in September of '79, we only had several million households.
We were middle relievers. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. The Darren Holmes of the world,
This is I need this to happen though. I want the newsroom or something there to be named after Tom Mees. Now I've tried to do this back channeling. Why hasn't that happened?
I don't know. he popped up the other day in a Game 7 in-bump, a little piece of tape beginning a segment, for those of you not in television, and his voice came in, and God, it was, this August will be 19 years, August 14th, that he passed away. They don't necessarily, they haven't named particular buildings after people. They have put up plaques and whatnot, and that is something I think that needs to be addressed, because he was certainly part of our founding culture.
Oh, but you and Chris,
we miss him.
Yeah, without you and Berman and Mees, there, ESPN is completely different, if it's even around. I mean, you guys.
Yeah, well, there's a whole bunch of folks from that early era, and then just because we work at the business end of the camera where the red light shows is no reason. There are a lot of people like Chuck Pagano, who just retired, a technical genius who was there just his life, in fact, longer. But it's, hey, the brand is a powerful brand, and 36 years come this September.
Good for you. Good for you. Great to talk to you, Bob.
For a living.
Great to talk to you.
Absolutely. Best to your family.
Keep the light on for me there.
Will do, man.
Thank you, Bob.
Bye-bye.
There was a little bit of a nervous laughter there, I thought, with keep the light on there. Like, there's no way you're coming back here.